Hey guys.
Check complete. Let's head over to the bar.
Yes. So we're back again with another episode of the VARBAR. My name is Andrew, aka Rapping Drew, and we are a day late, but that doesn't matter, man. That means that we gave ourselves a day to digest whatever happened over the weekend. Various results for some of us. As you can see, got Strizza in the building, representing Spurs. How you doing, man?
Yeah, man. Like you said, I had a day to digest and take the result in from yesterday, so not bad. How are you?
I'm good, man. Not too bad. You know how it is, man, over here, man. And Jay to the Mace, man, all the way. It's been a minute, man, since you've been on the pod, but yeah, you're back.
Yeah,
Gooners.
I'm back. Gooners are back. Arsenal's back. Let's get it.
Bit of a coincidence, some might say.
What do you mean?
Up, so you're back again.
Say again?
You're on the up, so you're back again.
Now we're winning games, so what can I say? Unlike that,
so you show up, yeah.
Unlike Spurs.
All right, man. Let's get it cracking, man. I mean, I just want to get straight into the business, man. Straight into the game of the week, which was obviously Liverpool against Man City. A game that I personally have been looking forward to for a hot minute. This was part of our 10-game run of games that Liverpool were meant to struggle in. Part of a difficult week in terms of, on paper, the caliber of teams that we were playing. Played Real Madrid in the Champions League, but we'll touch on that later. And yeah, got to Man City, man. Before I go and share my thoughts, just wanted to go to a neutral, so not like a fellow title challenger, but someone that's kind of outside of it. Strizza, what did you make of it, man? Because last week we were discussing it and we were previewing it, and you were saying, yeah, it might be not a banana slip because it's City, but we have to win basically, and Liverpool done it.
Yeah, obviously I see the little dig you gave there about being a neutral, being outside the title race. I see that. Now, obviously, in general, I think you just dominated the game, innit? Like we fought beforehand. City have been struggling. We know about their struggles in the midfield, especially lack of goals, which obviously we spoke about last week. And Liverpool went there and just run them ragged, man. Like the first 10, 15 minutes, it could have been 2-3 dominant. City couldn't get out. It was just, it was a really good performance, man. Liverpool was strong. I can't lie, I was watching thinking, like the atmosphere was mad. You could hear it coming through this. And I've never seen City just look so, just no ideas, just lacking intensity. Liverpool, it looked like they had 15 players on the pitch. They were just everywhere. They were all over them. No one had a second's minute to rest on the ball. The pressing from back to front, like it was mad. So I got to give credit to Liverpool, man. I think obviously like City have been struggling, but still to play City is always a tough game, regardless of what's happening. So just really impressed, man. And I think it could have been more than 2-0. That's the mad thing. It could have been more. And City never looked like scoring. Like, I can't remember a clear-cut chance they had where I thought, other than the De Bruyne one at the end where Van Dijk kind of took the piss a little bit. Other than that, like, just comfortable performance, man. You blew them away.
Was that a better performance than your performance the week before? I think you made some mad claims, boy, and now we came, and then we came a week later.
Obviously, yeah, I got cooked for that one, but context is everything, right? So, we went into the game without our centre backs and things like that. I think obviously you've gone into the game without obviously Konate, he's been colossus this season. But I think you being at home is always an advantage, right? No one wants to go to Anfield. We all know that Anfield on a big game, whether it's be in the Premier League or in Europe, ain't easy place to go to, isn't it? And we know that City have historically struggled there as well. So that's the only thing, obviously, that I'll take away from it. But in terms of a completely dominant performance without giving the opposition any sort of chance, yeah, you'd have to say it's up there. But at the same time, Liverpool are a better side than Spurs. Do you know what I mean? And I think you've set a marker out now after the week you've had that the league is yours. Like, if you want it to be, I think from this point onwards, you're the clear favourites, and you showed everyone that you're not here just kind of to make up the numbers. You're here to kind of go and win it. So, yeah, man, it was an unbelievable performance. I feel like, yeah, anything less than that now is you're going to have to look at yourselves and think, right, because if we can get up for that against the champions, you should be able to go through most games and get the job done, man.
Yeah. Let me go to you, Shalom, because obviously you and your fellow Gooners, you were part of the congregation, so to speak, that tried to predict that Liverpool would go in these 10-game run after the international break and possibly drop points. Looked at this game and thought, yeah, they might drop points here. They might go through a difficult spell. What did you think? What did you think of the performance watching it? What was your expectations?
It was a good performance. If there was any time to play City, this was the time. So it came at the right time with a very strong Liverpool team, and that City team was just abysmal. So it was a great time to play City, not to obviously take away what Liverpool did in that game, because he played well. He played really well, controlled the game in the first half. That he could have been 2-3 goals up, and the second half I thought was a little bit more tense, just because City controlled the game more in terms of possession, but they just couldn't score. And that's never something you equate to City not scoring. So that's something. So that's how the game went. Liverpool were good, City were terrible. You rarely ever see City make those silly mistakes at the back. It just felt like there was always a mistake in them, especially when the ball went to their centre backs. And that's basically how the second goal was conceded, the penalty. So, all in all, Liverpool were good. City couldn't be better. Questions need to be had to be discussed regarding players like Foden. Remember, I brought up Nunez the other day. I told you how, like, the clock is ticking on him because he's given me what's his name's vibe? What's his name? The guy from Leeds that they sold to West, or they loaned to West Ham.
Calvin Phillips.
Calvin Phillips. Yeah, it's giving me Calvin Phillips vibes. And this was the right time for Nunez to step up, and to me, he hasn't stepped up. So I think it's gone in the summer. But I don't know. Just to be objective, I'm actually very happy that City is going through this process, just without any kind of, I guess, biased in terms of being an Arsenal fan. Collectively, we can all be happy that City is going through this. But it's just, as an Arsenal fan, you would have wanted this last season. So it is what it is. But taking the matter back to Liverpool, you did really well. And I can't really say anything more than that. Trent was fantastic. Salah. Yeah, that's all I can say. He did well. Congratulations.
Okay, so obviously in terms of, like, because your club, or at least your club is also gunning for the title. You got back-to-back wins now. What does it mean for the title race from an Arsenal's perspective, or at least from your perspective? Like, what does it mean for you? And looking at the race, we're now in December, so not October, not November. We're now in December.
Listen,
what
I
does it
keep
mean
saying,
for you?
two seasons in a row. No, not 2 seasons. Actually, let me just go back. I keep saying that one lesson City taught us was the league isn't won in September, October, November, December, or even Jan. So that's a lesson we got taught twice by City. So essentially, Liverpool now has to keep winning all their games, and then Arsenal need to catch up. So essentially, that's basically the way the game plan is set. Both teams need to be winning. If one don't win, then and the other wins, then they just either extend the points margin or they claw back. That's basically it. Arsenal are the chasers. Arsenal and actually Chelsea are the chasers, and Liverpool are the guys in front. So it is what it is. and we now know what we have to do.
Do you agree with Strizza that it's Liverpool's to lose now, or do you still feel like?
No, I don't really agree, because, like I said, City taught us that lesson, right? But the only difference in between Arsenal and Liverpool is at least Liverpool has won a title, so they know how to win a title. That's the main difference. So you can give that to Liverpool in regards to experience, saying at least they've done it before, so they'll be better handling this than, say, an Arsenal or whoever. But I still go back to the same position that the title isn't won during this month. We know when the title is won, and at that time it's crunch time. So once you lose one game, it goes into your head. Now you have doubts and you start losing games. We know how it goes. So it's down to experience, man, and let's wait and see.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on just Liverpool before we move on to City. In terms of just like this period, obviously we had a pretty easy start, like a pretty easy 6 games on paper. Of course, we had, a couple of banana slips away games, but a lot of people made a lot of the 10-game run that we had between October and November coming into December. And I think we've won all of them, bar the Arsenal game where we ended up drawing the game. And I want to go to you, Strizza, for that. Like,
I'm Forest.
How
You
much?
lost to Forest.
No, that was within the 6-game run.
Right.
So after that, we haven't lost. But Strizza, I want to go to you. Like, how much? Who do you credit that to? Because obviously this is essentially the same team of last year, Klopp's team. But then obviously this year is with Arne Slot. So do you still credit this largely to the players just stepping up, learning from maybe last season's pain? Or do you give Arne Slot the credit? Because I feel like the opinions on that is pretty much divided. Not necessarily within Liverpool, but like outside of it. What do you think?
I personally think it's obviously a collective, but I think Slot deserves the most amount of credit. Yeah, you can argue it's Klopp's team, it's his players, etc. And there wasn't many incomings, obviously, in the summer window. But you can see the changes in the adjustment, the way that you play. Defensively, you look more solid. You look a lot harder to break down, especially in transition. I feel like you defensively are better. And some of the tactical tweaks he's made in terms of, you weren't able to buy a 6 in the summer. So he's found a position for Gravenberch to thrive. And again, he was outstanding, I felt, yesterday. I feel like you've got world-class players, obviously, in Salah and Van Dijk. And we know that obviously, defensively, Van Dijk can make a difference. And going forward, Salah can make a difference. But even without kind of having Jota in the team, he's found a position for Diaz up top. He's got a tune out of Gakpo, which a lot of Liverpool fans weren't too sure about him. So I feel like he deserves a lot of credit, because a lot of the players that maybe weren't performing to the top level last season, they look completely different now. And all round, you look like a better team. There are still elements of obviously what Klopp has instilled in the team, that in terms of that high press and things like that, but it's just a lot more controlled. And it feels like as a team, especially in midfield, which is, we spoke about it before, that midfield is lightweight. We'll see how they turn up in the bigger games against the bigger teams, and they've proven that they can go against the bigger teams and they can battle and they can win the battle. So yeah, I feel like he does a lot of credit, and obviously the players are obviously listening to what he's saying. He doesn't do the whole hyping up the crowd at the end of the game. He kind of gets his job done, goes about his business, and he's very calm. And I feel like maybe that element of it is a good thing as well. I'm not saying Klopp was obviously, like, we know what Klopp's done for Liverpool, but I think sometimes that all that attention and that media focus and that hype can sometimes affect players in different ways. So look, as things have gone right now, he's done an amazing job in it, and obviously not just domestically, but in Europe as well. So he deserves a lot of credit, man.
100%, man. I 100% agree with you, man. I think, I don't want to say he deserves all the glory, but possibly like 80% of it, man. Because for a lot of people, I mean, we discussed it in the group chats as well. A lot of people don't want to give Slot the credit. And obviously, this stems from people thinking that Liverpool wouldn't have started the season so well because we're going through a transition in terms of a new manager. They're not sure about the manager. He's coming from the Eredivisie. Historically, coaches from that league, they don't do well in the Premier League. So obviously there were doubts, which were completely fair. but he has shown that he can coach, and he can coach he can coach very, very good. You know, the things that you mentioned about the position changes, getting the tune out of Gravenberch and Cody Gakpo. These were players that last season Klopp didn't really get a tune of. Cody Gakpo played number 8 even for some parts of the season. I mean, he's playing Cody Gakpo in left wing, making him do what he does best. Jota has been out for a long time. He's obviously our main striker. Sometimes in some of the big games, he puts on Luis Diaz, and Luis Diaz is performing pretty well as a number 9. Whenever he puts on Nunez, yes, he's not scoring the goals, but you know, he works extremely hard. He does what he needs to do. The second goal, I credit that to Nunez, because if he wasn't there pressing the way he pressed, I don't see Jota pressing like that. I don't see Diaz pressing like that, but only Nunez would press like that, and he created that mistake that they made, and essentially we got a penalty out of that. So I feel like, you know, 80% of the credit has to go to Slot, man. Yes, it's Klopp's team. He only made one signing, but you can just see the difference in the way we play. It's much more controlled. It's much more calm. We pick and choose when we want to do the Klopp style football, like we did in the first half. Second half, we came out, we were a little bit more cautious, but that was because we were already 1-0 up. So yeah, man, for me, it's definitely Slot. And because of this as well, I believe that we can, and we should go all the way to win the league. For me, I disagree with Shalom's notion that I agree. Obviously, the league title is not won in December, whatever. I totally agree with that. But the way I see it, the way this league has gone on, with the 9-point gap, 11 points on City, which, to be honest, I still see as our main challenges, even though they're 11 points behind us. I don't see Arsenal or Chelsea making up that 9 points. And this is I said it when it was 7 points. So now it's even 2 points more. I said it when it was 7 points. I don't see them making up that points total, simply because I don't know. Arsenal, they look different than last season. You know, they're shipping a lot more goals. They don't look defensively astute as they were previously. So they're more likely to slip and lose more points than us. Chelsea, I don't think Chelsea are ready yet to go all the way. I think Chelsea, they'll make top 4 probably, but I don't see them in March or April being, 5-4 points behind us. You know what I mean? So with all that being said, 11 points for City is possible to overtake that, but it's only possible if we lose at least 3 games or draw like 5-6 games, which is also something that I'm not seeing. You know what I mean? So for me, this is right now, I said if we beat City, we will win the league. I feel like we have 2 hands on the trophy right now, and I'm confident of saying it right now, man. Honestly, because I don't see the points gap being overturned at all at this stage. And this is based on the way we are playing and the way the other teams are playing at the moment.
I got nothing to say to that, bro. This is a movie happening, and I'm watching. It's a fucking movie.
What do you think is gonna happen? What do you think is gonna happen? What do you think is gonna happen?
Listen, there is a huge possibility that Liverpool keep going and they eventually win the league. It looks that way. But until I see a Liverpool that goes through a little bit of adversity in terms of losing one game and bouncing back, and you know what I mean? I'm not talking about the Forest. We're talking about from now you've got this 9 points lead. Like once you lose the game, once a little bit of adversity hits you, I want to see how you bounce back, and that will give me a little insight of how you guys are. But for now, it's going well for you. So you have the confidence to make the statement you did, and I'm not mad, but I'm watching. Like I said, it's a movie. Where if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then brother, you've made a lot of statements. You made a lot of a lot of things. He said a lot of things. So just be wary, because if it doesn't go well, hey, that's what I can say.
I doubt it, man. You guys should stop hoping and praying, man. I doubt it.
It's not even hope or pray. It's just I'm just letting you know if it doesn't go well.
I know what these Arsenal fans, they're just in the background lurking. It was 4 points, then it was 7 points, now it's 9 points. By the end of the year, it could be even more, man. I mean, let's see. But I want to move on to City right now, because obviously this is unprecedented. They've lost, I think, they've not won in 7 games. Is that right? Is it 7 or 6?
6. I think they've lost 6 games in a row.
They've lost 4.
They've won in 7.
They haven't won in 7. They've lost 4 in a row in the Premier League. I mean, what do we chalk that on? What do you think is going on? Because I've got
a big gripe. Yeah. We spoke about, obviously, the games prior, right, last week. And obviously since then they were 3-0 up against Feyenoord and drew 3-3, which again, to lose a 3-0 lead in the last 10 minutes is not something that you put with a Pep Man City side. Loss of concentration, mistakes, high line. Gradio was having a stinker, probably why he got dropped yesterday. Loads of different reasons. But my biggest issue with yesterday was the lineup. Now, there's a lot of talk about why he's playing Lewis the right-hand side of midfield, but playing kind of in midfield to protect Kyle Walker, and also because they haven't got a lot of legs in midfield, and with Gundogan in there, it's a difficult thing, right? I get that completely. If I'm to ask both of you, where have Liverpool looked the weakest this season, where would you say?
Left back.
Where's Liverpool, you mean?
Left back. Liverpool, yeah. Left back.
Yeah.
So we've seen, obviously, in the week, he gives away a penalty. Last week against Southampton, gave away a penalty. I'm not saying we'll do it again, but it's to say that, and we've seen throughout the season what Saka did a few weeks ago and different things, that Robertson's not been at it. He's the weak link. So why you don't play Savinho out wide or Doku out wide and engage him in a 1v1 is beyond me. Now, I understand the whole protection thing, but you've got to try and win the game or cause a threat somehow. So to not play a single player, like to play Matthias Nunes, who's a midfielder by trade, on the left, to play Rico Lewis on the right and not play Savinho, it didn't make sense to me. And then you're trying to get legs in and around Gundogan, but you're getting out running midfield anyway. So it's like you might as well have a threat out wide and try and pose a threat and kind of push them back, rather than let Liverpool just come and dominate the game. Like, I don't know what you man thought, but I just
playing
felt
devil's
that was a big reason.
Do you reckon they were both not 100%? Because, I mean, I agree with you. I think he should have played one or two wingers, but he didn't. So would that mean that both players were not 100% to start? Possibly.
I mean, I don't know. Obviously, he's not said anything like that. I don't think it was that personally. I think he just tried to change things tactically, and it didn't work. And they've obviously had issues in transition. They've had issues with teams playing through the lines, breaking the press, and playing balls over the top. So we know that Gundogan he's looked leggy since he's come back, and they've had issues obviously in midfield. And I think he was trying to protect in the middle of the area. He knew Liverpool have looked good in midfield, and he's just trying to compete as best as he can. But for me, sometimes the best form of defensive attack. And if you've got two wide players that are good at going at their men, because you saw when Doku came on, although he didn't really create anything of note, a couple of times he was jinkying past Trent and causing a little threat. And obviously Savinho I think, he's a tricky player. He's not had the numbers this season, but he can go out a man, he can beat a man. So for me, it just felt like a big mistake from Pep. And obviously, like, listen, he's the best manager in the world, arguably, of all time. So I'm not saying that I know more about ball than him, but it just felt like he kind of gave the game to Liverpool a little bit, like kind of gave them the impetus to go and do it. I don't know what you man thought, but I felt like that, like if I was a City fan and I saw that lineup, I would straight away be like, raw, like I don't fancy us today.
Yeah, I was saying the exact same thing to the Liverpool boys as soon as the lineup came out. The first thing I was like, is Pep throwing this game? Because exactly what you said, our weak link is, what's his name? Robertson at left back. He's been off it this whole season. Not this whole season, but he's been off it. He's had one of his best halves in this season because no one was attacking him. No one was coming at him. You know what I mean? It felt like Pep was throwing the game. I understood what he was trying to say in regards to the transition thing, but that doesn't make sense. If you know you haven't won in 6 games, you need a win. Beating Liverpool, even getting a draw at Anfield, it's some sort of a statement. It's some sort of like, yo, you know, we're still here to collect the league. I 100% agree with you, man. I thought like, you know, he kind of handed us this game. I said to the boys, is he throwing the game? Because why is he playing with Rico Lewis and Nunez instead of Doku and Savinho? And why are they on the bench? You know what I mean?
Can I play
KDB was
devil's
on the bench
advocate
as well.
again? I'll play another devil's advocate. Technically, if you look how this game went, Pep could have gotten away with it because at the first half, and it was 1-0, right? Second half, it was still 1-0 until the second goal. So technically, if really and truly, if I don't think that Pep's issue was necessarily, even though I agree with Strizza, the wingers. I think his whole team were just not on it because I keep saying when have you seen City make those terrible mistakes in the back? It just felt like whenever the ball was with their centre backs, they were prone to making mistakes. So say when Doku and Savinho came in, City scored 1-0. That game would have totally changed. You understand? So
no, I hear what you're saying, but
you don't
I
think
just
so?
think sometimes.
Go ahead.
I just feel like sometimes like there was no out ball, so everyone wants to come and get the ball feet. Liverpool are pressing, so when they're trying to get the ball, they can't turn. They can't get on the half turn. Sometimes you need an out ball, a ball over the top to turn the defense. Then they'll clear the ball out for a throw in. Then you push up 10 yards and you gain ground, and then from there you earn the right to play. There's nothing wrong in football with turning the defense the other way around. But the more you keep playing short passes out the back and you invite pressure, then you make the mistakes. You're allowing that to happen, but they had no out ball. So it was like it was crying out for someone to just run in behind and just cause a bit of havoc. Whether or not like they would have like scored or whatever, who knows now? We'll never know. But there was immediately more of a threat when Doku and Savinho came on the pitch. And I just felt like it was just crying out for it.
I'm not disputing. I agree with you. I think his game plan was exactly what he did. His game plan was to play that particular formation. And then sometime within the second half, this is why I keep asking, were these players injured? Were they 100%? Because to us three, it makes logical sense to play these wingers from the get-go. So why didn't he play them? Why didn't he start them? So what I'm thinking is that this was always the game plan to bring them in later on in the game. So if he went, that's why I keep saying, if they scored, that game would have been a lot more different. It would have been a lot more open. And I think that was Pep's game plan, but it just did not work out because the rest of the team were crap. And City, like I said, this is not the City we both know. Like we all know, City are very good with ball retention and ball possession. But for some reason yesterday, they were just prone to mistakes. So I think Pep had the game plan, but it just didn't work.
I think you're doing us a disservice by saying they were prone to mistakes, man. We just blamed them, bro.
Listen, it can two things can be correct. You understand? Two things can be correct.
Two things can be correct, but I know I see what you're doing, man. Don't try it. We blamed them.
Okay,
minute
cool.
1 to 90.
Sometimes just take a different opinion. Two things can be correct. You guys were good. Both the City were terrible.
Yeah, there we have it, man. All right, man, let's leave this game. Liverpool's going to win the league. The rest going to fight for top 4. Success with that, gents. Let's go on to the Friday games then. Brighton, for Friday game, the rest of the game week. There was a game on Friday for a change. Brighton against Southampton ended in a 1-0 draw. Mitoma and Downs. Southampton. You know what, man? I'm starting to see more Southampton games and I'm starting to see the vision. But I just feel like they have too many shit players across the board. Dibling, that guy, he's I can see him going to Spurs for some reason. For some reason, I can see he just screams a Spurs player. He just seems like someone that Spurs will sign and give him the keys to. But I like him, man. What do you think? What do you think, Strizza?
I like him, man.
For you?
I've seen him a few times. I first saw him against United, and I thought, who's this kid? Like, he looks good. And then obviously you do a little research and you see that he went to Chelsea, but he went back to Southampton after that. And yeah, man, every time I've seen him play, he just looks good. Like, and he's 18, but he gets stuck in. Like, he don't really like get bullied on the pitch. And yeah, obviously last week against Liverpool had a big impact. Friday night, he was balling out as well, man. I like him.
Good player, man. And then on the Saturday games, Brentford beat Leicester 4-1. Kevin Schade with a hat-trick. Leicester, obviously, with the newly appointed manager in the stands, Ruud Van Nistelrooy. Any thoughts about that, gents? Obviously, he had a good record whilst he was interim at United, unbeaten. Now he's going to be doing relegation.
Good signing. Before they sacked, what's his name? I saw on the news that the Leicester players went to the Christmas party and were screaming for Maresca. So that's not really a good sign.
Yeah, in Denmark, right? They went
to
Copenhagen or something.
Yeah. From what I take from that, they missed that exciting football that Maresca brought, right? And I think what they had wasn't it. So now they've got Ruud in. I do think Ruud will play more of an exciting, expansive football. So it's a good signing from Leicester. But is it too little, too late? They've lost a lot of points. And I guess the other argument is, should they have brought a manager who would keep them in the league than play expansive football? Big Sam? I don't think so. But those are the both arguments. And I'm like, yeah, but it's a good sign.
Yeah. I think Leicester, they just got shit players, man. I think, he might charge it to the game, get relegated, and do it all over again in the Championship and come back, man. But them players there, I don't know, man. Crystal Palace against Newcastle, which ended in a 1-1 draw. I actually watched that game. I don't know if you man saw that game, but
I watched it.
Crystal Palace blitzed Newcastle, boy. Like, that was crazy. They should have won with way more goals, to be honest. But it ended up with I think it was an own goal. Gahi had an own goal, and then Munoz last minute equalizer. Yeah. But yeah, Crystal Palace, man, what's going on there, man? Your boy Eddie Nketiah, 008. Chat to me.
Brother, I think this is his level, but he needs to score some goals to get that confidence. I think with Eddie, once he starts scoring, then he will be there. But for now, it is what it is. This is his level. So let's wait and see.
All right, man. And then the other game, Nottingham Forest, high-flying Nottingham Forest beat Ipswich 1-0. Chris Wood on the score sheet. Wolves lost at home to Patrick Kluivert's son, Justin Kluivert, with a 4-2 win for Bournemouth. Kluivert with a hat-trick of pens. History maker. He's the first person in the Premier League to score a hat-trick of penalties, man. So shout out to him, man. Kerrikas as well with a goal. Strand Larson with 2 goals. Wolves, again, they play good, but always end up on the losing side. And then the evening game on Saturday, West Ham against Arsenal. The Arsenal! Go Nurse! 5-2 dub against West Ham, man. London derby, man. Chat to me, Jay Mace. Are the Gooners back?
There's nothing to chat about. Let's move on, bro.
Let's talk, man. It's been a minute.
There's absolutely nothing to talk about. I mean, I can't lie. Like, winning is good because we set the pace in regards to chasing Liverpool. But, it just feels like, okay, for me, I'm like, okay, cool, we won. It's not, I'm not excited. I'm like, okay, we won. You understand? If, say, Liverpool drop points, then the win would have meant something. And this me being very honest. But at the end of the day, we had to win to keep pace against Liverpool. So it is what it is. West Ham win.
Wide, my boy.
Hey.
They got wide.
Hey. But yeah, West Ham.
No, but let's talk about the game though, because obviously you guys started off well. I think 4-0,
4-0.
But then you gave West Ham an in. I mean, Wan-Bissaka scoring goals all of a sudden. Took his goal really well. Emerson, fantastic free kick. And he had another free kick that was very close as well. It could have been 4-3.
Yeah, good pass from Soler to Wan-Bissaka. Took his goal really well. The free kick that was given wasn't a free kick. It's just abysmal. Declan Rice won that ball fair and square. Those type of free kicks, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't even be mad with the keeper. You just can't be mad. It's just a well-taken free kick. 4-2. What's his name? Julian. Let me get his last name. The West Ham coach. Lopetegui. Yeah, he said something which was interesting. He said what really killed the game was the fifth goal. He said once that fifth goal went in, then the game was dead. Because if you go in 4-2 down, you'll think, okay, we got momentum. And fair enough. I can accept that particular point of view, but West Ham were terrible. And you just can't give those type of excuses when you ship in 4 goals or 5 goals in the first half.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is what it is. We took the win. And, yeah, there's nothing more to kind of rave on about, apart from, let's say, Saka is world-class. Odegaard is world-class.
Gabriel.
That's it. Gabriel's
your best defender.
This season,
for a year. Not this season, bro. He's been your best for a minute. We have to be honest. Like, I feel like, you know, a lot of people like try to, I would call it discredit Saka and Arsenal for like their set piece goals. Of course, Stoke FC, Retete. When I drop that, it's banter. But obviously, when you're good at set pieces, specifically from corners, and you score them, that's a good weapon to have, especially if it's like in a game against Liverpool, for example, where you scored that goal, Marino, from a set piece. Like, you need to be good at set pieces to win like tight games, etc. So I don't necessarily have an issue with that, especially when the crosses are quality. Just the whole set piece is poetry in motion, bro. I have to give you man credit for that, because the combination of Gabriel causing havoc in that box, and no one knows how to deal with Gabriel, and him just smashing the ball in like every single time.
I think the great thing about that play is just, I think people are looking at Gabriel as the guy who scores the goal, but you need to look at what the other players are doing to allow Gabriel to have the space. It's just brilliant. So like you said, set pieces are something you need in your arsenal to win games and to score goals, especially when you have tight games. And we're doing it really well. I'm actually more glad that we're scoring. At least we scored a goal from open play. Yeah, that's good, and that's what I'm glad with. And the fact that Kai scored it, someone who you wouldn't necessarily bet your house on to score from an open play like that, and he's done it. It's all looking good. However, you know, when you're 9 points behind, you're just like, okay, it's a win, so let's move on. There's nothing to you don't celebrate that win too tough, because there's a mountain of points ahead, and you need to just close the gap.
Yeah, Strizza, let me go to you for this one, because Shalom mentioned something about Saka being world class. I think he's got 10 assists now in the league, right? So
yeah,
they're saying that he's coming for Kevin De Bruyne and Thierry Henry's record for 20 assists plus in the league. Other people are saying they try to again discredit the thing, because a few of them, not even the vast majority, but a few of them have come from those corners or set pieces. But where do you classify Bukayo Saka in terms of like wingers around the world or wingers around the Prem? Is he that Donny now? Has he stepped up this season?
Listen, Saka is one of the best wingers in the world, no doubt about it. But he's not world class. I have this debate with my boys all the time, especially Shaz. I say all the time. He says that Saka's world class. I say he's not, and we go back and forth. For me, the reason why it can't be, people say like, because he's one of the best wingers in the world, it means he's world class. But for me, there's not a lot of world class wingers anymore, right? And that's not his fault, okay? But there's not. So he's done it in the Premier League for many seasons now. Cool. He's done it for England. Cool. My last thing for him is I need to see it in the Champions League. And also, can you take your team to glory? Can you take your team and go win them a trophy? Whether it be the FA Cup, whether it be the Premier League this season, and then we can start talking about world class. Because I don't really personally think he's done that yet. I know he won the FA Cup early on when Arteta first joined, but since then there's been nothing but nearly moments, almost getting there but not getting across the line. So for me, he's not world class. But in terms of in the Premier League, the only better winger in the Premier League is Mo Salah, and he's consistently delivering numbers, goals, assists, obviously in big games as well. And in terms of the record, the Henry and De Bruyne share, like he's well on course to break it. We've got another how many games? 26 games or 25, 26 games to break the record. He's only played 12 games this season because he missed the Bournemouth game. He's got 10 assists. He's tripping in with goals now. Like, yeah, it's definitely doable. And just on the set pieces thing, like, obviously Arsenal are incredible from set pieces. We know this, but I just think teams can do more. I honestly think teams can do more. We've all seen it. They all go to the back post and they charge across the front and there's blocking and different things going on. But I just think teams need to be braver. Almost allow them to have that back post space. And because we know the ball's coming towards the front post. And if the ball does go towards the back post, then you can travel as the ball's moving. And the keeper needs to take more authority. I just think maybe it's easy to say from my sofa, but I just think teams can defend better from these set pieces, man. I honestly do.
Wait, hold on, before you go, Shalom. I trust me, I've been there as well, where I felt like teams need to do more, teams need to do better. But when it happens so many times, these teams, they analyze, bro. They analyze it. You always see them like, okay, you take him, you do that. But I think these Arsenal, man, in terms of the set piece, they're so well drilled to a point that it's automatic for them, for Arsenal. And once it's automatic for Arsenal, you can't stop it. No matter what you do, unless you commit a foul, you can't stop it. Because I feel like Arsenal, it's been drilled down to them so many times. I don't know how they probably spent 2 hours in training on that. They must do, or like a whole preseason on just set pieces. They must do, because I saw like for the Gabriel goal where like Mikel Antonio was meant to mark him. And he was like looking like he was, bro, Gabriel lost him, bro. He lost him. After that, Mikel Antonio tried his best to block him. What happens? Another player, Gabriel makes the run. Another Arsenal player blocked Mikel Antonio. And that's how Gabriel always becomes free. So, but Gabriel is not pulling out free by himself. Another Arsenal player will do it for him. And that's how they do it, bro. So I think it's just like a well-tuned machine at this point.
So basically, Nicholas Jova has a lot of experience in NFL. And so he takes a lot of the NFL tactics in regards to blocking, because it's very known in regards to like blocking, etc. So that particular tactics, he's somehow applied it to set pieces. And what Drew said is quite correct. You can, even though take that Antonio match yesterday, you can see Antonio is a strong guy. So you're not necessarily thinking, all right, cool, Gabriel should be able to get away from him. But the whole plan is they know that someone will be on Gabriel. And what they do is when the ball is taken, they step into that space to stop the guy who's on Gabriel, to create space for Gabriel to head the ball. So it's quite clever in how we do it. And the fact that we've been so successful at the same thing so many times shows that it's not just luck, it's careful planning. And also to your point, Strizza, when you said like the defenders should just let Arsenal players run, I'm sure you know you don't want a player would run to you when there's a set piece, because you don't have the time to jump, etc. And the player has the momentum. So because of that, what they would do is, what the opposition players would do is they're aware of that. So they're now forced to mark the Arsenal players, and then it happens. So it's kind of unstoppable until someone figures out a way to stop it. That's the way I look at it.
Nah, I agree in terms of not going zonal, right? But I just feel like you can't be touch tight in that situation. Because like you say, the blocking side of things, if you're too tight, you get blocked. Give yourself a yard, 2 yards of space in between yourself and the player you're meant to be marking. Don't be so touch tight. Because then the chances are you're not going to get blocked. The reason why you get blocked is because you're so compact, you're so close. If everyone for Arsenal's at the back post, right? Let's say there's a group of Arsenal players here and the West Ham players are here defending them, right? I don't know if you can see my hands. Give yourself a couple of yards. Don't be so tight. And then when the ball travels, then you move. I don't know. I just feel like that would be maybe an easier way to defend it. But listen, it works. I'm sure, like as you said, like these professional clubs like go through it. They know who they're facing. Maybe it is unstoppable. I don't know.
Shout out to Gooners, man. Good win, 5-2. That's is that 3 wins? 3 wins on the bounce now, or 2 wins for you guys?
3 wins.
2 wins.
Forest, Sporting, and West Ham.
Oh yeah, Europe, Champions League as well. Nice, man. Good stuff. Keep it up. And then on to the Sunday games. Chelsea beat Aston Villa 3-0, which is further claiming their stake for top 4. People are even calling them, you know, they can go all the way to challenge for the title as well. Personally, I'm not quite sure, but Enzo, Nico Jackson, and Cole Palmer again with a brilliant goal. I don't know, man. Cole Palmer, he bags against these type of teams, but when it comes to like the top teams, he goes, bro. But still, man, he's still a very good player. Mace, man, I wanted to talk, about Villa, man. I spoke to Strizza about Villa last week.
Yeah.
Unai Emery. The curse of like, you know what I mean, Champions League midweek games and games in the weekend, Wednesday, Sunday, Tuesday, Saturday.
Yeah.
It seems to strike down on Aston Villa too, man. They have slipped down the table now and they are 12th. And a lot of people tip them to be top 4 contenders again this season. I mean, they're not far off anyways, but what do you think, man? Your coach.
Brother, I've said my position regarding Unai Emery, and for me, he's a fantastic coach. I would never take that away from him. But my issue with Unai is he will get you so far, and he will flirt with, say, top 4 or winning something, and that's as far as it goes. That's always been my problem with Unai. But he will get you. He's a very good coach. So hence why Villa going through this position they're going through, I'm like, okay, it's expected. I'm not surprised. But don't get it twisted. He's a good coach. But I don't think, well, clearly he's a winner. Clearly he's won lots of trophies. But the biggest question still remains, can he do in England? And so far, it's a no. So, yeah, good luck to Villa. And I'm sure they'll be fine. They're just going through a bad patch. Missing Onana. Who else are they missing? Ramsey. Yeah, let's wait and see. Yeah, I got nothing else to say. I've already said what I have to say regarding Unai. He's a good coach, but he's not that coach that takes you to the next level, for me at least. He could have done it with Arsenal. He didn't do it with Arsenal. He's done it with Villa. The thing is, Unai will go to Unai. I'll say this: Unai will go to Spurs and he will do well with Spurs, but he won't take Spurs to the next level. Unai did with Arsenal.
Like,
he did well with Arsenal.
See where he puts your team.
No.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Let me explain. Straight. Relax. Let me explain. See what he did with Arsenal. He did the same with Spurs, but he wouldn't get you to the next level. So he will flirt with making your team competitive, but not competitive to the point where you are doing something. That's my issue with Unai. So when I use Spurs, I use that as an example of a good team that can do better and should win something. And he will make you competitive, but he won't make you winners, especially in the Premier League. And yes, the counterpoint is he's won in Spain and he's won in in France with PSG, but he hasn't done it in the English Premier League. So yeah, the jury's still out.
All right, man. Quickly before we move on, we have to give Chelsea their flowers, man, because they have a almost identical record with Arsenal at the moment, who people are tipping to be, title contenders. Arsenal are just second based on alphabetical order. Strizza, what have you made of Maresca and his boys, man? And again, I've said it for so many weeks, and I'll eat my heart out because I've had it so wrong about Chelsea. But what have you made of Chelsea, man? And where do you think their ceiling is? I know it's early, but
yeah, I think I'm the same, man. I gotta say, my bad on Chelsea. I thought they'd really struggle when they sacked Pochettino. I felt like it was the wrong decision because they finished the season really well, and things were starting to click a little bit. And with Maresca, I thought he's coming from the Championship. I know they won the league and whatever, but he's not really done anything. Do you know what I mean? He's just one of Pep's guys or whatever. But yeah, man, Chelsea, look, if you look at where they were 12 months ago, people were laughing about them. Even beginning of the season, they got like how many players on their books and who's going to play where. He's found a team. You can almost kind of call their strongest 11, if you like, in a way. Caicedo looks like one of the best. He's been one of the best players in the league this season. I think he's been the best in his position.
Facts.
I still think they're not the best defensively, but there's definitely improvements there. He's got Jackson scoring goals, taking chances. He's looked like he's come on leaps and bounds and improved. See, Palmer's Palmer. And the way that they press as well, it's like as a team, they kind of all know what they're doing. There were so many instances yesterday. I watched the game where they were winning the ball back or making Villa make mistakes and pressing. And it's not just from the front, it's then the defenders and the fullbacks and Caicedo was inverting, coming in, winning the ball. And they're all over teams like a Rashford at the moment, but they've also got quality in the final third that they could score goals and create chances, man. So I've been really impressed with them. And I think, look, I don't think they'll challenge for the league necessarily. I do think it's between Liverpool, Arsenal and City. I'm not going to write City off yet, even though Chelsea are ahead of them at the moment. They haven't got that know-how or that experience, but, like how things are going at the moment with the age of their squad and the depth of their squad, like, and maybe next season they could keep pushing, man. He's done a really good job. And I think it shows, sometimes like us as fans, not that I'm a Chelsea fan, God forbid, but you don't always know what's going on. Sometimes there is a plan. Sometimes there is something that maybe you don't see that someone else can see. So, yeah, I feel like Chelsea fans will be excited for what's to come for them, man.
Yeah, Hondo. Shout out Chelsea, man. I'm intrigued to see if they can maintain this and get back into the top 4 at the bare minimum, man. Let's move on to the next game then. United beat Everton 4-0. United, since Ruben Amorim's come in, I think they drew against Ipswich. Beat Bodo Glimt in Europa, and then beat Everton. So, unbeaten start for him so far. 2 draws, 1 win. Good game against Everton at home. I think it's his first home Premier League game. I don't know if you guys watched the game, but anything new that you notice? Anything impressive, or is it still Ten Hag's? Do you still see remnants of Ten Hag there?
I mean, he's got Rashford scoring, so I guess that's a good thing. Off the
that
bat,
Rashford, yeah. Forget about Rashford, bro. That guy, every time a new gaffer comes in, he bags because he just wants to prove himself. And once he's comfy and he gets into his good grace, and he's got a new girl as well. Once he gets his new white woman, you know what I mean? Rashford is out here, fam. So you get me. So forget about Rashford, man. He's just about to sell dreams to this United once again, man. But
I watched the highlights of the game, and I was impressed with Amad Diallo. I thought he was very good on the right side. Obviously playing as a wing back, but he's pressing. His final pass was really good for 2 of the goals. There's obviously a way that Amorim wants to play, right? And he's trying to, obviously, with the players he's got, trying to implement it in the best way possible. I've never seen Everton make so many mistakes, though, in their defensive third, like giving the ball away, getting caught on the ball and getting punished. But I think it's important to remember in the first 15, 20 minutes, Everton caused a few problems for United, and they didn't look all that. They looked a bit shaky at the back. They could have maybe gone a goal behind, but I think once United went ahead, it's kind of Everton kept making mistakes and they were getting punished, man. So I do think, though, if he plays 2 in midfield against Arsenal on Wednesday night, they're going to get punished. You can't do that.
There's no Kobe Mainu, no Martinez against Arsenal as well. So, Mace, have you got any fears for that game? I know United is always like a tight game for you guys. You guys, ever since you've been on the up again for the past 2 years, you haven't really like beat United, like smashed them, even though they're shit. So yeah,
they always raise their game when they play Arsenal for some bizarre reason. Of course, we know what the reason is. We have history. I was just checking my phone on the group chat. I'm hearing Odegaard might be out, so that's probably rumors. This wait and see. But
you still do it, right? It's only one injury.
Yeah,
it's not because of Odegaard. We should now, you know what I mean? We should now cry again.
Exactly.
We should now drop points, collect 3 points out of 12.
It's not like we started playing well when he came in, right? It's not like that, right?
It's not like, you know, you're only relying on one player, right?
Precisely.
It's not that at all.
That's what one player does to you. Our City. Yeah. Bro, I
quick
think
preview.
We should win the game. We should win the game. I say 2 or 3-1. I do think United will score just because, like you alluded, our defense has just not been there in regards to just stopping goals. But I find it interesting that Amorim is playing with wing backs. It reminds me of when Arteta came in and he just saw how shit our club was, and he just decided to play with wing backs as well. And I think that may be about trying to just make you more compact and also attack as well. So it's quite interesting.
That's his style, man.
Is that?
That's his
I don't really watch Amorim,
yeah.
So I just thought, you know.
Yeah, that's his style, man. He said that's how he's been playing.
Right, cool. Well, let's wait and see. New manager in. Do they have the new manager bounce? I don't know. But one thing I do know for sure is United might be losing 9 games, but when they come to Arsenal, they somehow step up their game. So, yeah, let's wait and see. But I do think we win.
I need that, man. I need that Amorim. You know what I mean? I need it.
Well, we have to win. That's just the beauty of it. We have to win. We can't be dropping points. So we need to win.
Yeah. At least, you know, before we go to Spurs, man, at least like with like the chasing, I think the beauty of being like the chase, because we've been in your position as well, chasing City. And I think the beauty of it is like, you know what you have to do.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. There's no margin. The problem is there's no margin for error, but you know you just have to win. And the players know that as well. So hopefully for you, that's what they go out and do, man. But yeah, it'll be a good game on Wednesday. And then let's end it with Spurs v Fulham then. Spurs, after the best Premier League performance in the history of the Premier League, were to see 4-0 win at the Etihad. They came back home, buzzing. Fulham, not North London, London derby, West against North. Hey, it ended in a 1-0 draw, man. And streets are saying it could have been an L even, man. Strizza, talk me through it.
Bro, you might as well just pull up the clip from 2 weeks ago, rinse and repeat, G. Big man thing. Same old. Come off the back of a good Premier League win, and we go and drop points at home. And it feels like the same thing's happening. We were lucky to get a point, actually. Obviously, you know, Fulham on the better side, could have been 2-3 up in the first half. We just struggled. We just couldn't. I've never seen us look. Well, I have, to be fair, Palace away, but we looked so bad on the ball. We barely made 5 passes. We weren't creating any chances. We just looked flat. And I don't know if it's because we put so much into the City game, and then obviously we had Roma in the Europa League on Thursday, and that was a bit of a mad game. It was like a game of basketball. There's about 40 shots between the two teams, just crazy game of football. I just think Andrew's style of play is so difficult to maintain, especially around this period of time when you're playing games frequently in the league and obviously with Europe. They just look tired. But I don't want to take anything away from Fulham or make excuses, because I think in the end we were lucky to get a draw. And yeah, that's about it. There's literally nothing positive to say other than Brennan Johnson, another goal. But I'm not going to keep letting tap-ins blind me. He can keep getting in the back post and putting them in, and fair play to him. But other than that, offers nothing. Genuinely offers nothing. We missed Kulusevski. He didn't start the game. I think it was a bit of a rest, but we missed him massively in there.
Were your centre-backs back?
No, still playing Davis and Dragusin. Vicario's had ankle surgery, so we're playing Fraser Forster. Man looks about 50 years old. I don't know how he's still diving around in the goal. I guess the best way I can kind of finish the analysis of the game is our best player was Fraser Forster. The two centre-backs and Pape Maisol. Other than that, offensively, no one was good, man. But we did miss Solanke. That's one thing I will say. You could see that Son ain't a striker. He ain't a 9. He ain't going to be able to hold the ball up, link the play. I heard rumours that we're looking to trigger his 1-year contract extension. I don't know whether I'd want to keep Son long-term, man, because I don't know where he fits in moving forward. Yeah, he just looks a little bit past it now. But listen, we've got a big game Thursday, man. I think in the end, the point's not a bad result. Fulham on a bad side, but we need to win Thursday. No excuses, man.
No excuses, man. I think Fulham are one of those teams, they're so annoying. Like, when they play like the top teams, they always rise it. No matter who. Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs, United. Like, they always rise against these teams, home or away. Even if they come to our ground, they play. But when they play against teams like on their level, they start losing, dropping points, playing shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Fulham is one of those fixtures. Fulham and Brighton, I hate playing those teams because I always feel like we're going to lose those games, man. But shout out Fulham for that draw. Let's quickly just go over to the European games then. Obviously, that happened as well during the week. A couple of noticeable scores. Obviously, Man City Feyenoord, my Feyenoord, of course, team that I support over here, came back from a 3-0, being 3-0 down, came back to drawing the game 3-3. Obviously, we kind of discussed the problems with City already. But that one was a bit weird because it looked like there was nothing going on at all in terms of problems. I think he removed a couple of players, and he was just playing it. The game is in the bag. And then I think Feyenoord scored 1 goal, 1 mistake. I think it was Guardiola. They smelled blood, and they kept going and scored the 2 extra goals, man. City. I'm not saying that they're not going to qualify for the Champions League, man. But in terms of like being in the top 8, that's looking tight for them, to be honest. I don't know what their remaining fixtures are, but they need to buck up their ideas quick, man. And then same night, obviously Arsenal played Sporting Lisbon, 5-1. Obviously Sporting. This was the first game in the Champions League, without Ruben Amorim. Arsenal as well. Lately, they haven't really been performing too well in Portugal, but surely this must have instilled I know this instilled hella confidence into Arsenal fans across the board with this particular performance. But how did you see it quickly?
I mean, quickly, I was that was it Tuesday or Wednesday. I was traveling, so I was watching Tuesday. I was observing the game through my phone, so it was quite kind of surreal for me, at least, the fact that we were scoring that many goals. And it just, I mean, to be fair, it's nice when you are traveling or when you're watching a game via live score and you see your team scoring, and you're less nervous, you're less anxious. You're like, okay, cool, 2, fair enough, 3, we're having a party, 4, goddamn. And then that's basically my thoughts. And we just had a great game. Gabriel as well with his header is just becoming a staple of an Arsenal attack. And we did the business, man, and that's all I can expect from my team. That's all I want. My team to just go out there, do the business, get the points, move on.
They say he's the hottest striker, one of the hottest strikers out there at the moment, Gyökeres, but you know,
Oh yeah,
I
you
know it's
pulled out
Arsenal.
his celebration as well.
And I know it's Arsenal. I know it's Gabriel and Saliba, but that guy, I don't know, Strizza, if you watch that game, obviously you're the striker as well. But I don't know, man. He looked shocking. And people will reference, obviously, the City game. He scored a hat-trick. I'm sorry, he scored 2 penalties. Bro, I don't know, man. I'm not too sure about him. I can't lie. He bags. But I don't know, boy. This was the test. This was the game for me to see, okay, can you handle Gabriel and Saliba? Because if you can handle that, then you can come into my team. If you can't handle them two, then what's the point? Well, what's your stance?
He did look a little bit like... I watched it until they went 3-0 and I turned off because hate watch was over.
TV off.
In terms of him, TV off. In terms of him, though, like, he's a handful. He's quick. You know what I mean? He's strong. He had a little run in the second half where I saw on a clip of it where he hit the post or whatever. I just think he's rash. Man wants to just ras everything. Like, sometimes have a little composure and just take your time in the box. And you know what I mean? It's just a bit raw. But I think, obviously, like, maybe not top level. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But he would bag goals, especially for a team that obviously, you know what I mean, that wants to play that kind of way. Big striker, wants to run. Do you know what I mean? He's a poor man's Haaland, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Without the finishing, without the technique. So, but yeah.
Fair enough, man. Shout out Arsenal with that dub. And then obviously the next game, Juve Villa ended up in a 0-0 draw. Liverpool, Real Madrid happened that night as well, which ended in a 2-0 win for Liverpool. Again, it was, I think, quite a dominant performance from us from start to finish. It was quite different to how we started against City, however. I think this time it was much more controlled, a little bit more cat and mouse a little bit with Madrid. But, you know, not even after we scored the first goal. I think towards the end of the first half, you know, we were much more on the ascendancy. We had the better chances, and then the scoring the goal that early in the second half was very key, because I think the longer the game went on, I think Madrid would have just, you know, hit us on the counter, because that's a game that they came and played. They didn't look to dictate possession. They didn't look to dominate the game or control the game. They just wanted to hit us on the counter and score. I know they were missing Vinicius. I found out about that very late, to be honest. I thought he was playing, but I think that changed a lot for them. And I think that changed a lot for us as well, because as soon as you remove an explosive winger, a tricky winger from the equation, especially against Liverpool, I think Liverpool as a backline becomes extremely comfortable. And that's how it played out, man. And there was a few man of the match performances that I could count out as well. Obviously, Kelleher, penalty save from Mbappe, he was really good. Top 5, still maintain that. Conor Bradley was really good, assist, but also defended brilliantly the whole game. Cody Gakpo was good as well. Salah was good, even though he missed a penalty. So, I mean, overall, it was a good performance, man. But I do acknowledge that it would have been a total different game if Vinicius Jr. was there. But before we move on, Mbappe again, man. Striz from the Strikers Union. Kylian. Wagwan with Kylian.
I don't know Wagwan for Kylian, man. Can't lie. It's just looks to avoid the confidence, G. Like when he's out there, I'm just not seeing the same sharpness in movement, and when he's got time to maybe shift it and shoot. You know, he's got that little shift and near post shot and lock. I don't know whether he's like, listen,
bro,
it's a
is
big
that
money
shirt heavy
ball.
for him? Can we say that already? Is that shirt heavy for him?
I was good.
I don't want to say it, but
it's not.
That's what people are saying.
Well, look at the game against Getafe. Did you see his goal against Getafe? That was like prime Mbappe. So I don't know. I just feel like. Yeah, go ahead, Striz.
Nah, like obviously I was gonna say it's a big money move, but obviously he went for free, so it's not. But still, it's the big signing of the summer. Do you know what I mean? Him going there and wherever else, and I just think that pressure sometimes it's a lot, man, for anyone. Even if you are regarded as, even if he hasn't won the Ballon d'Or, people still think he's the best player in the world, right? So I feel like there's pressure, but the season doesn't finish in December. The season goes on till May. Come the end of the season, we'll probably see Real Madrid in the Champions League final. Probably see them near the top of the league. He would have had an impact in both competitions, and then it's a completely different argument. So you just got to let it run. But I also think there's been many players, including Ronaldo, including Modric, including Bale, in their first season, they kind of struggle sometimes when they go to Madrid. It's an adaptation period. And once that happens, you can kind of see the best of them. But I don't think it helps as well that Vinicius and him are quite similar players in terms of they like to drift to the left. And I wouldn't say Mbappe's an out-and-out nine. I think he's still learning that side of his game. So it will take time, man.
Yeah. He also has, 10 goals all comps? So is there a crisis?
I think the Madridistas, they acknowledge that, but their standards are very high, and their issue is his overall play. So they acknowledge that he scores goals or whatever, but just his overall play and his contribution and the misses, because he misses like big chances as well. That's what they're having a gripe about. But for me, I'm siding with Strizza, man. I totally just look at the history and like the top players that also struggled for Madrid in their first season. And I feel like for me, with things like that, never judge a player in their first season, man. Like always give it the second season, and that's where you really, gonna judge them or not. And I think he'll come good, man.
He's also playing a different position, man. It's not it's not 9. He's learning to play that role. So you just have to give him some grace. He's a human being after all. He's no fucking machine. So just give him some grace. Like I said, 10 goals all comes. That's not bad. But I accept that there's some sitters he's missed. Mbappe, back in the days, Mbappe against that penalty, I think he buries it. I honestly think he does. Because if you look at the World Cup final, what he did, that was prime Mbappe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in that bring down Mbappe against Liverpool, he buries that pen. So we just have to give him grace. He'll be back.
He was hating again, innit? He was watching that game hating again, innit?
I'm not a hater like you.
you was just hey, when Mbappe missed that pen, Mace was like, cursing. So good, man. Hey, let's head to the bar. Any shots?
Yeah, let's take a shot.
What's your shot, man?
Hey, my shot goes to star boy Bukayo Saka.
Mm-hmm.
I know within this particular podcast we've heard from Striz. He doesn't consider Saka world class, and that's his opinion. But I always say this: the making of a great player or a world class player is consistency. If you're not consistent, then you can't go into those levels. And Saka is the definition of consistent. There are 2 consistent players in the league so far in terms of attacking players, and that's Salah and Saka. And for me, that's what makes him world class, because he is consistent day in, day out. He is consistent. He's consistent for Arsenal. He's consistent for England. He's just a player that you can rely on, because he will bring it. So because of that, I give a shot to Saka. I think we haven't seen in his evolution, he's got a lot more to evolve into as a player. And as an Arsenal fan, we're lucky to have him. Because you know how this song goes, in 2 years' time, if we don't win something, Madrid comes calling, whatever. But I'm just praying we do. And yeah, my shot goes to Saka.
If he's world class, he'll make you win something, innit? That's what I'm saying. Let's see.
Bro, do you think Son is world class? And if you do think Son's world class, then the same logic applies.
Not anymore.
Okay. So he was a world class player, but didn't win nothing with Spurs. All right, cool, man.
That's
I love the logic.
Man.
He won things for South Korea, though. What now? One thing for his country.
Oh, Jesus. Move. South Korea.
I like that still. Hey, that was kind of Drake Kendrick.
Bro,
Family matters, meet the Grahams, not like us. Hey,
if it was South Korean, he would have won stuffs too. So it's all good, boy. It's all good. Saka is world class, Son is world class, and both things can be right, as I keep saying.
Yeah, 100, man. game of opinions. Strizza, any shots?
No, I'm gonna keep it sober today, man. I don't think no one deserves a shot from me, but I'm not waking up with a hangover for no reason. So hopefully next week, man.
Yeah, for me, I've got a shot, man, because for this particular player, his time starting for Liverpool. It has come to an end, or it's coming to an end soon. I've been saying that I think like he is top 5 goalkeepers in the league. He will start for 95% of the teams in the league easily. Kelleher, I mean, you know, part of our great run, part of us being not conceding goals in the league or in the Champions League is down to him. He's a big part of it because, yes, Konate and Van Dijk have been imperious this season, but we have, we have conceded chances, big chances as well. And he's more time than not, he's always come up clutch for us in saving those big chances. I think only yesterday's game, he wasn't really tested like that. Apart from, again, the Kevin De Bruyne, again, a very difficult save to make because Kevin De Bruyne tried to slip it through his legs and he purposely blocked it with his leg. Now, I mean, a lot of things that he does, I don't see a lot of goalkeepers even do. Like, for me, Kelleher, he's a top 5 goalkeeper. I don't know. It doesn't matter what the order is, but he's better than a lot of goalkeepers. And it's a shame to see him like go because we signed Mamadashvili from Valencia for next summer. It will be a big shame. I really want to know what the plan is for him in the future. And I know we're probably going to sell him because obviously his value has gone up. And probably we're going to use Mamadashvili as whether Alisson goes as well as our first or as our second goalkeeper. But it's a shame, man, because I personally, from what I've seen from this last season and this season, I wouldn't mind Kelleher following up on Alisson as our number 1. Honestly, I totally wouldn't mind that. Even when Alisson got injured, I said I'm not even worried because I know.
Brother, take your fucking shot, man. God damn, what is this? So, take your shot.
So for me, obviously, Kelleher, you deserve all the flowers that you get. May you rest well, man. Drink well, rest well. Spend some time with your family. Spend some time with your mom and dad, your kids. You know what I mean? Don't listen to these haters. People got Raya in goal. Others got Foster and Vicario in goal. Fam, you're a big man to them. Just remember that. You're a big man to them.
Jesus Christ.
You get me? So my shot goes to Kelleher. And the funny thing is you can't say shit. Anyways, thank you very much for joining the pod. Mace, Strizza, thank you for joining us. And we are the VBP boys and we out, man.
Peace.
It was a pleasure. Peace.